afternoon. It's Friday, January the 27th. It says I'm live. It's Friday, January the 27th. This is Mary Lou Foster. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas, about halfway between Dallas and Texarkana on Interstate 30. And I'm so excited to have you with me today. Still kind of messing with my settings to get the best view. If you hop on, please comment that you are watching so I can see you. And acknowledge that you're here. So I'm going to find on my iPad. I haven't gotten a notification yet. Things are a little slow sometimes. Okay, turn down my volume so I'm not blasting us out. Looks really good. Today we're going to make a Valentine card for the first card that I'm making using the Country Bouquet stamp set. And my second card will be an adorable owl card. I had made, I believe I made one last week. You may notice that I have a host code up here. If you see something that you would like to order, I will put the link in the comments when I get done. That will take you directly to my online shopping page and link with this host code. That just collects all the orders together behind the scenes, and I'm able to take advantage and get reward products that I can use to reward you guys. So I see there's somebody watching. Like I said, there's a delay. I just love Facebook Lives for that reason. You're hopping along here, and then all of a sudden somebody asks a question and you've already moved on. You're not being rude. It's just that it takes that long for the comments to come through. So, Valentine's is coming up. Some people celebrate, some people don't. We don't do much. Sometimes I get chocolate-covered strawberries. I love them. I don't really need a whole box of candy, but I'll eat it if I get it. But I am making cards for one of the nursing homes here in town, and I have asked for help from the girls who come to my card class and to the Happy Scrappy card class at the Senior Citizen Center. And we've got about half of them made. We needed 72 to 75, and this was one that I thought, ooh, this would be a cute one to make. It's a little bit different. It's a top fold card, and I'm going to show you when I made this one. I didn't do it right, but don't tell anybody. I'm going to show you today the right way to do it. The neat thing about this one is you cut your cardstock. I have an extra piece at 4 1/4 by 11. Of course, the sheet of paper is 8 1/2 by 11. So you're cutting it in half. You're scoring it at 5 1/2, and it's what I call the top fold card. And the neat little thing that you do so that you have this piece of paper peeking out is you cut about 1 inch off the bottom of this card. And I was supposed to have layered this little piece on the inside of the card, but silly me, I put it on the bottom here, the short side. Well, that's fine until you open it, and then you've got this, the back of the paper is the blue plaid, and I decided, you know what, that's fine. Whoever gets it's going to go, well, that's pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and put this little piece where it belongs on the inside bottom. All right, come on. The sun is shining today. The birds are flying. It's a beautiful day here. I think other places maybe aren't so lucky. So that gets that piece out of the way. And the front layer This shimmer paper is in the new mini catalog. It's called Fine Shimmer Specialty Paper, and it is just gorgeous. I'm sure you can see the shimmer on the camera. It does not shed. Somehow or another, however they made that paper, that glimmer is just gorgeous. This piece is from the pack of paper, the Gingham. Oh, let's see. I did not keep that here with me. But I just got in the mail Country Gingham. These awesome little paper samplers. This is Country Gingham. There are 6 designs, 8 of each, front and back. And I'll tell you what colors they coordinate with after I show you the paper. I love gingham. I grew up loving gingham. It coordinates with balmy blue, mint macaron, petal pink, and sweet sorbet. So we're using a piece of that on this piece of shimmer paper. The shimmer paper is cut 3 3/8 by 3 5/8. And those are little teeny tiny markings, yes. This piece of designer series paper is cut 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. So it only has that little bit of a border, but it's just enough. Let me put that card back to give it a little pop. Just a little pop. That's all it needs. You don't need it overwhelmingly gold. The ones that we're going to make for the nursing home, I don't have a full pack of this shimmer paper, so I'm having to use the distressed gold. Alright, so I'm going to set that one aside. And I need to stamp my heart. Let's get me a piece of cardstock. This is 2-step stamping. So we're going to stamp the leaves in mint macaron. So I already have them. They're the photopolymer. And you can kind of see it's a little bit of a shape of a heart. That's what's going to help you line up the flowers and the hearts when I get ready to add that layer. And I am going to use one of the piercing mats because the photopolymer, remember, doesn't have the layer that gives it some squishiness. And it works okay just on a hard surface. But sometimes the give and take between the stamp and that mat makes it a much nicer image. And our flowers are going to be in sweet sorbet. This is a gorgeous red ink. It's not as rich as regular red, but it's so pretty. And these stamps, they have texture on them. So you can see that some places there's a lot of ink, and other places it looks like it skipped. And that's the design of the stamp. So you can kind of see the shape of the heart. You can see the shape of the heart. And sorry if I get my head in your way. I'm going to just kind of line up here at the bottom. There's a heart and some flowers that I'm going to use as my right down here to line that up. Isn't that pretty? So, you know, if it's not perfect, it's not a big deal. The flowers aren't going to die if they're not attached to a stem. There's freedom in that. Clean that up. I'm going to reach over here and get my ribbon because I'm going to tie a piece of this real red and burlap ribbon around that center panel. So the nice thing about this card, you don't have to color anything by hand because the stamps do the work for you. But I am going to have to cut around this heart, and it's just kind of a loose, you know, leave a little border. When you cut it out, you'll have your heart shape. Don't cut the flower accidentally. The owls, well, you see the little owl. We used it in class this week 2 different times because there are 3 owls in that stamp set. And ladies kept saying, oh no, I just cut his toenails off. I guess owls kind of have toenails. They have claws. I didn't hear the owl screeching, so. Look at that. Got us a heart. So like I said, I'm going to use this. Look at this burlap ribbon. It is so soft. It's not stiff like burlap. It has that little bit of edge, the white. This comes in a pack with the real red ribbon. And this is so pretty too. It has the satin edge on it. And there kind of is a right and a wrong side to these ribbons. I kind of had to study it to figure out which was the right and which is the wrong. It should roll off the roll the right direction, and you just lay your piece of paper on it. I sharpen these scissors, so I better keep my fingers out of the way. I have a sharpener to sharpen my Fisker scissors, and if you've ever had Fiskers, you know you can cut yourself badly with them. And I went, you know what, I bet you they would sharpen these little scissors, because I had cut something that dulled them, and it was quite frustrating. Look how nicely that ties. So I'm going to want it over to the side a little bit. Once you get it tied, then you can manipulate it and fiddle with it a little bit to get it to go where you want it to go. And give those a little trim. This will look nicer if it's mounted on some adhesive dimensionals. Big old piece right there. I'm just going to cut that off. Use it just like that. I don't want my dimensionals to sit on the ribbon, because then the image is not flat, kind of lifted in one spot, low in the other spot. I want mine flat, so I've left it open in the middle. Grab those up, kind of eye that up. It does not have to go on straight. It's a heart, and I don't know, hearts to me, they're cuter when they're kind of angled just a little bit. Isn't that pretty? And then you can mount that on flat, but guess what? I'm going to use dimensionals to pop it up off the surface, especially since it has ribbon tied around it. And put a piece there, and I want this corner piece so I don't forget to use it. The backing's off. So tell me, do you do Valentine cards? I like to send them to my grandchildren because, you know, they get their little cards at school. However, my oldest one is in 7th grade. Pretty sure they don't do Valentines anymore. The 5th graders probably do. I forgot to talk about this detail right here. This is cut with a die from the Eden's Garden. And you're like, what? That's kind of what I did when I saw this. What I did with it? I lie. Maybe it's not cut with Eden's Garden. Didn't I make myself notes? I did not. Okay. Oh, no. I'm not going to remember what dye. Hand pin petals. That's it. I knew it was sort of one that we haven't used in a long time. Yes, hand pinned petals. And the thing about this one, it die cuts this little dotted line, but it does not cut it on this straight edge. So you have to decide how wide you want your strip. I cut mine 1/2 inch. And I'm going to mount it on top of the front of this card. So I had a strip that was extra long. So I have to trim off that piece that and it'll add that little scallop detail, and it adds the top stitching, I believe is what that's called in the real world. And let's try to use some tearing tape. It's going to be too wide. And all else fails, let me get my silicone mat, because then I can just use my tape runner. And I'm not going to do it solid. I'm going to skip some spots. And then if you don't want the extra stickiness hanging down, just take your finger and pull it back onto itself. I'm going to have to put it up a little higher, like right at the bottom of where those scallops, since I've got adhesive all the way across. And then to trim it, you just use the edge of the card as your straight edge. And I put it over just a little bit, not much, on that side. Now let's talk about how to do the with love. That can be the last detail. It's on basic black and it's embossed. Yay, we get to emboss. And I'm just going to pick a spot on here. I didn't cut a, that's powder. And when I rub it over that, I get powder everywhere. And it says, with love. This is one of the sentiments out of the stamp set. I didn't show you the stamp set, but it says, I love that we are friends. Happy Valentine's Day. That's what we're going to put on the inside. Just wanted to say Happy Valentine's Day, or just wanted to say I love you. And like I said, they're photopolymer. That whole suite of products. Oh my gosh. I didn't think I was going to like the Valentine products. Yeah. I should have known better. Let's see. I'm stamping it with Versamark. Remember, that's the clear watermark ink. You can kind of see it on there. Let me bring my embossing kit over. I have one of the old-timey ones in the catalog that just went out, the mini from the fall. They offered the whole setup, the tray, the brush, the tweezers. I always try to get the extra off with my finger. And that did carry forward. It's not listed necessarily in a catalog. It will be in the annual. Why didn't I put the extra back in there? Because I was busy thinking and not paying attention to what I was doing. This is why I love this little tray. Sometimes I get lazy and I try to shortcut, and I'll just go rogue and use a piece of paper, and I end up with embossing powder all over the place. So I just want to caution you to be careful with this until you heat set it, because if you touch it now, you're going to mess up your stamping and you'll have to do it again. There's really no recovering it. Alright, this may be a little loud, and I'm going to bring it up closer to the camera because I want you to see the magic. Embossing is so fun. It starts melting and it gets shiny. It's starting to happen. And then I just work my way across the item. Sometimes I wait a little bit. You don't want to overcook it. Can you see the shiny? The first time I saw or did heat embossing, I was hooked because it is so fun. And you don't really have to clean after you've stamped with Versamark, but I always do because they're sticky. It's a sticky ink. Now, I am going to trim this. Sorry here. It's not going to work. I got to work this way. Can I do it up here? I'm going to trim it. How about if I do it this way? And I'm just really kind of eyeing it up. What width? It looks like I may have it on 5/8. Hopefully that's straight. Kind of hard to tell. Yeah. And that one is cut with a notch. And I believe I'll do that. Even though that's pretty narrow, I probably should. Oops. Just go ahead and put it in here. And do it right. Because I don't want it crooked. Yeah, that'll work. And then remember when you're cutting your little notch, we have a punch, but it works better with like 1 inch and 1.5 inch. I don't think 5/8 is one that it'll do. Kind of eye up where the center of it is and trim up. And then I'm going to put it on. I'm not going to put my adhesive all the way across because part of it's going to hang off the heart. Oops. Kind of use the ribbon as my straight line. And like I said, on the inside we're going to put Happy Valentine's Day. Kind of simple. That strip of designer series paper across the bottom gives it the decoration that it needs on the inside. And this one has sequins, the adhesive sequins. I don't think I pulled them out. I had a card clash yesterday, so a lot of my things are still in those tubs. So I can put that on later. And I'm going to move these things out of the way so we can do adorable owls. And find a place to hide that. So that's the first card today. Thought, well, we'll do Valentine's because it's such a short timeline for Valentine's. And put with love up. Come here, you adorable owl. Wait till you see the adorable owl. He's free, remember, during celebration. So for a minute there, I'm going to have them side by side while I get out my supplies. I have my little card kit right here. He is on Granny Apple Green. Who likes Granny Apple Green? Whew, that is a bright color. A little bit of it goes a long ways. This paper is part of the Hostess pack in the new mini catalog. It is called Dandy Designs. It's 12 by 12 and there are 48 pieces in this pack. And they are bright. Bright. Alrighty, we're going to use some bright colors. So remember the owls, there's the birthday owl, the flying owl, and the professor owl. Because, you know, the wise old owl. And we're going to have ours say, my friend. So, here in my kit, this one is a side fold card. You know, I like to name my cards. I already have it scored at 5.5. No, at 4 1/4. It was cut at 5.5. Now the different thing about the front of this one, There's the layer of Granny Apple Green that's cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then instead of an entire sheet of the striped paper, there are 2 strips that you'll mount on either side of the card. They're 1 inch by 3 7/8 because they're just a little bit shorter. Is it 1 inch or 3/4? Ah, it's 3/4. And then the center panel is the other side of the striped panel. And what you have to do when you cut that out, you have to pay attention, because you notice these stripes go up and down. And on the front of the card, I wanted mine to go side to side. So you just have to pay attention when you're cutting it. And I told my ladies, start with these outside pieces and get them on. Oh, I'm sorry, the phone is ringing. They're going to have to leave a message. Yes, I can't take their call right now. And it's just, once again, just a little teeny tiny mat, a little teeny tiny border. It rings 4 times before it goes to the answering machine. It's probably a tax aid question. And then the center panel, you can use the strips that you just put as your guide to just line it up so that it's kind of centered between the 2 of them, like that. And I am going to go ahead and stick it on the card front. Alrighty. I don't know what that is. Get that off there. Now, the little tag is die cut. I think I put notes to myself. No, only for the stamp that I used. I didn't what set that came out of. And you notice it has a background. We created that by stamping the words "my friend" over and over and over. I'm going to get a piece of paper. I stamp off to it doesn't have to be straight, because Mr. Owl's going to cover up a lot of them. But I went ahead and filled it in. My ink pad needs to be re-inked. Can you tell? The N and the D didn't get inked very greatly. Alright, so that's all with the Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to clean the stamp, and I'm going to stamp my label while I have the stamp. And it's stamped in early espresso. It's just easier to read, and you don't always have to stamp in black. So let me make sure I get the ends of it also. When you put these labels on your stamps, be very careful and get them on as straight as you can, because sometimes you use this label as a guide thinking that it matches up with the words on the other side, and if you put that label on crooked, then it's hard to make sure that you have it all lined up. Alright, so one of the ladies went ahead and stamped the owls for us all. I failed to put pieces of cardstock in their kits, so she's like, I'll just stamp a bunch of them. I pulled a card out of another kit that we robbed, so this one was already stamped. This is the flying owl, and I am coloring him today in Crumb Cake, light and dark. His beak will be Daffodil Delight, and his feet. You can see how little bitty his feet are. But you know what? It doesn't take 2 minutes to cut him out. You just, with these Stampin' Blends, don't go too close to the edge because they bleed out sometimes, and then you're maybe not happy with the way it turns out because you've overcolored. So I always try to stay away from the very edge. You can always go back and fill in any blanks with the little nub end of the pen. For the big areas, I use the brush. You just don't have to push down hard because these are alcohol-based markers, and they just color spectacularly. I think people use Copic markers. I've never had them. I believe they're alcohol-based too. It smells good because it's alcohol, not the drinking kind. And color his little feet. And I did use the little nib in. And his eyes, I'm going to make them Bermuda Bay because that matches the paper. I don't think owls have blue eyes. I think they have like yellow eyes, goldish color. But we colored one of our owls fresh freesia the other day. So it's called Artistic License. And he turned out adorable. I will be showing that card, but not this week. But these adorable owls, you get them free with a minimum $50 order during Celebration. So Celebration is set to end on February the 28th. But these products are only available while supplies last. And I have a feeling that this owl isn't going to last till February the 28th because he's super popular and very cute. So if you want this owl for your stamping collection, you might want to go ahead today and order. That's why I included the host code, so that all you have to do when I get it linked in the comments is click on that link and go place an order of $50 or more, and it'll ask you to order Celebration items, and you'll put in the code number for the owl. If you need catalogs, please let me know. You can comment, you can email, you can direct message. There's many ways to get a hold of me if you are really interested. I try to make it easy, but sometimes you just have to get out there and try it yourself. Alright, so he is on dimensionals. Got a little sheet that was left over from Paper Pumpkin. Get them used up. He turned out really cute. If you wanted to sparkle him up a little bit, you could use your Wink Stella and make his eyes a little sparkly. You know, owls can turn their necks around. No, I don't think it's all the way to 360, but they can look behind them. It's kind of spooky to watch them do it when you watch videos and they walk around to make the owl look at them. I'm going to use some of the metallic woven ribbon. This is Tahitian Tide, kind of an unexpected color. I told you this was going to be a bright card with our Granny Apple Green and our Tahitian Tide and our Bermuda Bay eyes. And these are the end colors, so you can get a roll in each of the 5 colors. And they're so pretty. And they're easy to work with. They're 1/8 of an inch wide or 1/4 of an inch wide. They do fray at the end, so if that's a little detail, you can make it fray. Alright, where's my loop? There it is. Isn't he cute? And then once again, we can put the tag on dimensionals. If you're going to mail this card, that does not affect because they squish down. So it doesn't keep the card from being too fat to have 2 layers. And he's a little bit at an angle. And now my friend is just mounted flat. And the ends of it are angled. You could do it however you wanted to. We made this one a birthday card. That sending you smiles for every moment of your special day is from the very best occasions. And I did not pull that one out. I just wanted to be sure and be able to make the front of the card for you. So those are my 2 cards for today. We did the Adorable Owls in Granny Apple Green. And we did the Country Bouquet Valentine card using the Gingham Designer Series paper, 2-step stamping, heat embossing, some pretty glimmer paper. So that was all I had for you today. I really appreciate your time. And like I said, if you need a catalog, if you need to place an order, I'm here for you. So just reach out and we'll get it done. So until next time, y'all have a great day.